Hey guys, what is going on? My name's Tyler McNabb, and this was my YFZ450R. So in the last video, you saw I went ahead and got this thing disassembled, and so today is going to be a cleaning video. So a lot of this stuff needs cleaned up. We're going to start with some of the bigger stuff, get the frame all cleaned up, get our plastics nice and clean, shock, radiator, everything needs cleaned. Some of the stock parts I probably won't clean because some of those are coming off anyway. But all the stuff that's going back on, it is going to either be pressure washed or scrubbed. So we're going to do that, as well as the engine over here. I've got a 400EX cylinder chilling in the way, but got the engine. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to try to seal everything up as good as I can, hit it with the pressure washer real quick, and then, like I said, hopefully get it thrown in the vapor blaster so I can at least get the like the center cases cleaned up. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the majority of this video, I would imagine, is getting stuff all cleaned up. And then after that, I'm not sure exactly. That may be about all this video is, so we will see once we get there. But I've got a lot of cleaning to do, and luckily, like I said, it's nice and warmed up, and so we're going to get the power washer set up out back, and we are going to get to washing this stuff. So I will see you out there. Okay guys, we got pretty much everything washed that I wanted to get washed. Got our frame, subframe, cleaned up the wiring harness, got our spindles, airbox, brakes. Went ahead, the rear shock I am getting revalved. The front shocks I am not doing anything with. However, I went ahead and washed them just in case I decide to sell them. Got the exhaust washed up. The radiator and the swing arm are over on the other side already. Got the plastics cleaned up the rest of the way. And yeah, that was all I mainly wanted to get washed up. And then I've got a couple other things still sitting over here on the floor. You saw a little time lapse of me picking up. I went ahead and picked up all the stock takeoff stuff, or the stuff that I'm going to be replacing, put it up in a tub up there because I'm not going to be needing it. So all that's really left is just a few parts here and there that I need to wash up, but this is all smaller stuff that I'll probably wash up in the sink. And so now comes the fun part of cleaning. So here is all the stuff sitting on the floor that is going to be going in the vapor blaster. So I'm going to be doing a decent amount of vapor blasting, especially I want to get the swing arm nice and clean up this exhaust, and then we got some hubs, sprocket hub, sprocket guard, the brake stay, some engine mounts, some little brackets here and there, the shifter, that kind of stuff. As well as the one big thing that I'm going to be vapor blasting is the engine. However, I'm not going to do the engine in this video because I'm doing a whole separate video on this engine that you guys will see. I'm going to do just one whole separate video for the everything engine. And as you can see, I've actually already done some sandblasting on some of the parts here. And you will learn more about that in the engine video. So stay tuned for that. But what we're going to do for the rest of this video is we're going to get this stuff cleaned up. We're going to do some vapor blasting. So this thing was actually converted to a sand blaster. So it was just doing dry blasting. So just dry crushed glass media in there, no water or anything. And so this thing is relatively easy to convert between dry and wet blasting. The only thing I figured out is you have to make sure that you get every bit of moisture out of the hose and the gun, otherwise it'll get clogged up. So that was the only trouble I had, and that was just my fault. I rushed into it, but going from dry back to wet is really easy. So the only thing left to do is to throw these parts in the vapor blaster and get them all cleaned up. So let's get into it. Okay guys, well, after a lot of vapor blasting, we have here some nice clean parts. So as you can see, I went through, vapor blasted a ton of stuff. The thing that probably turned out the best was the radiator. This thing looks brand new. Of course, besides the bent up fins, I also went through and I got a pick and I tried to fix some of these bent up fins. I know you're not going to be able to, you know, fix them, but I at least kind of bent some of them out and tried to make them a little bit better anyway. So went through, did that on both sides. So this radiator looks really sweet. And also did the swing arm. It turned out pretty well overall. Missed a couple spots here and there, but I found those after I dried it off. But overall, it looks pretty darn good. So we got that. And then we also have some smaller pieces. I went ahead and vapor blasted, and I probably made a little bit of a mistake vapor blasting some of these because, well, like on the 400EX, the Hondas, pretty much all the hubs and engine mounts and all that stuff, they're aluminum. Well, I didn't even think to check on the Yamaha because most of these are steel. So the sprocket hub is steel, the just the wheel hubs are steel, the engine mounts are steel. So the only thing I actually vapor blasted that was aluminum was the shifter and the sprocket guard. So I may need to go and get like a thing of clear coat or something to throw on these to make sure they don't start rusting, because that would not be good and it also wouldn't look very good. So I'll probably have to do that. But yeah, so on my lesson learned, I need to make sure I check and see if these are ferrous metals or not before I blast them. I just assumed they were aluminum, but they are not, so it is what it is. I also went ahead and cleaned up the header pipe a little bit, so I threw in a little bit of a time lapse of scrubbing that. This thing was covered in dirt, just baked on dirt, so I went ahead and got that cleaned up. It looks pretty good. So just some steel wool and some hard work. Went through and scrubbed it all down about as good as I could. Of course, I couldn't really get into the fine areas like where the heat shield mounts, but other than that, it looks pretty darn good. So I think that is going to wrap it up for part 2, the cleaning video. Got pretty much all the parts that I wanted to get cleaned up. I've got a couple left over there, but it's just some small stuff like radiator hoses and little like the clutch cable and stuff. I'll just throw that in the sink and scrub that real quick. But the next video will most likely be the engine video. So as I talked about a little bit, I went ahead and already sandblasted these covers because we're going to be making those look a little bit better here soon. But also the main thing I'm going to be doing in that video is we are going to be vapor blasting the cases as well as tearing down the top end so that we can get the top end rebuilt. So make sure you guys come back for that. That should be a pretty good video, and hopefully by the end of it, the engine will be looking pretty darn good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little video here. I know these first couple videos usually aren't the greatest of the build series because I'm just tearing stuff down and cleaning stuff, not super interesting. However, we have some boxes of parts up there, and hopefully it'll start getting a little bit more interesting. Waiting on a couple more parts. Don't have too much left to come in, but that should be getting a lot of that either this week or next week. So hopefully by the time these videos come out, we will be good and ready to go with all my parts and everything, and then we can start fully assembling this thing. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the first couple videos. I appreciate you guys coming and watching. Make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the series, and hopefully it should be a good one. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.